y'all. Welcome back to Leg Day with me, Cydney Gillon, 6-time Miss Figure Olympia. Today we're starting out the motions with single leg extensions. Now, sometimes I'll start my workout with leg extensions, or I'll end my workout with leg extensions. Either or, you can switch it up just depending on what you're trying to do. For me, I like to do a good pre-exhaustion because I don't plan on really lifting that heavy throughout the rest of my workout. I'm going to lift in terms of making the movement feel heavy, but in order to make the movement feel heavy, you just kind of fatigue everything. So that's what pre-exhaustion is. Get the muscle fatigue, get it firing, get it really moving really well, and then you jump into your more compound movements and different squat variations. So this is also a good way to warm up those joints, getting those knees nice and warm, making sure my hips are moving well, and making sure that I'm really in tune with working each muscle in my quad and all the way up to my hip, and really focusing on engaging that muscle. So that way, by the time I get to my other movements, my joints are warm, my legs are warm, all my muscles are firing. I know kind of getting started for the day, getting mentally warmed up, getting physically warmed up as well. You can do different type of unilateral movement. I like to do alternating sometimes. So the reason I alternate on the leg extension, because I was going to alternate here on my walking lunges. So me, I'm the type of person that if I am going to alternate and I'm supersetting, because this is a superset, if I'm supersetting, I want to make sure that I'm starting and ending with the same leg each time. I don't want one leg to get more rest than the other. So here I have plate loaded, aka me, I'm the machine, plate loaded walking lunges. I really try to keep that pressure going through the quad because this is going to be my quad exercises. So I'll do 3 quad exercises and 3 hamstring exercises because I only have 1 leg day throughout the week. So on these leg days, you'll see 3 quad focused, and then you'll see 3 hamstring focused. With these walking lunges, I'm able to make them quad focused by shortening my stance and making sure my knee pushes towards the toes just a little bit, not really overextending, but getting that pressure to where I'm keeping everything more on my toes versus driving up through my heel when I'm doing the movement. From those movements, I'm nice and warm. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to put a little more weight on the machine and weight into my movements. So I'll go straight into my tempo hack squats. And when I'm in these hack squats, I'm keeping my back really pressed into the pad. My hands are resting on the handles, not gripping them, no death grips, because you want to make sure that you're really putting that emphasis into the area that you want to work and not any other extra. Not my forearms, not my chest, not my shoulder, anything like that. I'm keeping my abs tight, controlling the movement down all the way up. So if you notice here, I'm keeping the same pace down and the same pace up. I'm not going to bounce out of the pocket. I'm going to ease and use my quads to get me out of that pocket. In the midst of this, halfway through, you'll see me here switch my feet a little bit, and that happens because sometimes when I'm working out, if the machine doesn't have a lot of grip on the platform, your feet will start to slide up. When my feet start to slide up, that means I'm going more into my hamstrings versus into the quad that I want to be in. So what I do is I pause for a second, get my core tight, shift my feet nice and stable, and then I go back to the motion. So it's not resting, you're just kind of shifting your feet to make sure you're actually working what you want to work. So really be conscious of that, and really be conscious of taking your time and make sure you're feeling each muscle in the movements that you're doing. Don't just throw the weight around, and that's the benefit to doing less weight. You're able to really control everything and focus on every single motion. And when you slow that tempo down, you're seeing which muscles are coming into play as you move throughout the motion, which is one thing that I really love. And another reason why it's really been crucial to me as I age in this sport and as I continue, to really just focus on that weight amount. Now, this is one of my favorite hamstring curl machines. Notice here on the type of machine it is, not everybody has a machine. It's very specific to Madhouse, because we have about, 15 of these leg curl machines. But this particular one, I love it because I have a lordosis in my low back. So it props my hips up, but it's almost my natural hip placement because it drives my body down towards the ground in the front, but the top half is staying hinged at the hip. So it allows me to really focus on squeezing those hamstrings, controlling the motion in and out. And for me, I'm not going to squeeze my glutes in this motion. I want my glutes to relax. I want this motion to solely be my hamstrings and not my low back. So it allows me to really focus on that. I'm going to slide into my sumo floor squats. For me, I like to squeeze up at the top. You won't see me fully straighten my knees or anything like that. I want to keep that tension on those glutes. And when I come up, I pinch the penny, really really, really hard from the low glute and drive up through those inner hamstrings. So in terms of your foot placement, I like to get a good turnout. When I turn those toes out, I want my ankles and my knees in one alignment. So if you're not flexible enough to do that, work your way there, but try to keep those joints lined up so that you're not causing any injuries that you don't want to happen. So I ease in and out the pocket. Don't need much weight here. I'm really, really squeezing, and I'm focusing on the motion and squeezing what I want to squeeze and taking my time. Again, I can't drill this enough, the importance of taking your time through motion. Now, with that being said, you can do some things faster, but you want to make sure that you're strategizing when you're switching that cadence, because that's a different cadence. For instance, if I always lift really, really slowly, me switching a cadence to something faster, like a leg extension or something like that, will be something substantially different to me and create a different type of burn. Now here I have my dumbbell RDLs. I like to stand on this little, it's really like a rear delt platform. I like to know where I'm stopping at. I can do it without having my head go anywhere near the band, but I like to keep it there, and it allows me to step onto the platform that's at the bottom so my toes kind of come up a little bit. I ease down, using my hams and my glutes to squeeze the weight up. Now, in this motion, I'm literally just hinging from my hip and letting the weights glide down the front of my body, right under my kneecaps, and pinching the penny up. I don't technically do a hip thrust, but I do squeeze my low glute and pull it in, which is different than my hip thrust. You'll see a full hip thrust when I do a glute video, which I probably will film soon. But here, extending through the hamstring, squeezing the glutes, the hamstring straight up, keeping the spine neutral. I'm not looking up in the mirror. I'm not looking anywhere else. That's going to throw my spine out of alignment. I want everything to really stay focused on those hamstrings and those glutes. Hope you enjoy. See y'all next week with more content.